Lex Little, and let's say half of the fitness industry, is calling me out. Coach Greg in today's video, Lex Little, and let's say half of the fitness industry is calling me out. And why do you think that is? Well, because I talked about a devastating injury that occurred when Mikey tried to bench press almost 600 pounds. As soon as this was posted, a number of people started messaging me saying, Greg, you need to do this video. And so seeing as I'm literally a news channel where I report on all of the news going on in the fitness industry, this would be one of the biggest news stories of the year. And so did anyone expect me to not talk about it? Let's consider this. Have I ever covered pec tears in the past? When Ryan Cowley tore his pec, did I not do a video on it? Or what about when this happened to Thor? Obviously, I'm going to use this opportunity to explain to people the dangers of ego lifting in the gym while using performance-enhancing drugs. And so what I find really interesting is how it's okay for everybody else to talk about this, but not Coach Greg. And so let's, for example, look at Lex Little's channel. I feel like shit about this, bro. Viewers discretion, Mikey tears pec, praying for bro right now. He shows the video of him tearing his pec. And I do believe he showed this before I do. The next video he posts, Greg Doucette when he sees Mike tear his shit. Apparently, if I talk about somebody, it's bad. I shouldn't do that. But if other people talk about it, it's fine. Or if somebody tries to make me look like a bad person for reporting the news, trying to discourage people from abusing steroids, or doing dangerous things to prevent them from also getting injured, that makes me a bad person. And so if you read through the comments, you'll see so many people who obviously knew I was going to do this video and are 100% in support of it. They know the dangers of trying to do 1 rep maximum lifts in the gym with more weight that they can handle while being on performance enhancing drugs. Now, if you're 100% natural, it's still dangerous, but not as dangerous as if you're enhanced. When I was a teenager, I would go for 1 rep maxes in the gym all the time. However, I was 100% natural, but guess what? I still had a partial tear of my pec. You see this hole right here. Can you see that? Compared to this side, do you see the difference? I experienced that tear while doing a 1 rep max in the gym. It hurt me for 3 years. For 3 years, it was hard for me to unrack the weight when doing a bench press. It was even hard for me to do chin-ups. And when I was doing bodybuilding competitions, I remember the pain of even having to do a most muscular. It was a partial pec tear. I went to the doctor, said one of the fibers of the pec had torn off. It was a minor pec tear. I know just how dangerous it is to go for 1 rep maxes in the gym. And having done multiple videos of this kind, I don't want anyone else to experience them. It sucks. It's a devastating injury. Lex Little and others are going to say it's all about the views. That's all you want. Well, frankly, I do want to have views. I don't do stories on people that no one's going to watch. But obviously, everyone wants to know what's happening with the Tren twins. Now, had the Tren twins have actually bench pressed 585 pounds, I would have made a video on that. I would have said, I can't believe how strong he is. It's unbelievable. And during that video, I would have said, please be careful. I don't want to see them get a pec tear. I don't want them to get injured. It's very dangerous because when you're abusing steroids, your muscles are getting stronger than the tendons and the ligaments.
I just got too strong, too quick after prep. And my tendons couldn't keep up with it.
I would have 100% said that, and you all know that I would have. Does anyone think that I wouldn't have made a video on the Tren twins bench pressing 585, or let's call it 600 pounds? I do videos on the Tren twins all the time. What they're eating, how much they're bulking, how much they're cutting. I literally could have a Netflix documentary on how many videos I've done on the Tren twins. I do the same thing when I talk about, for example, Chris Bumstead, Sam Sulik, Larry Wheels, the list goes on and on. That is my channel. And notice there were other people who made videos on this even before my video was released. For example, Mark Lobliner. But notice how Lex Little didn't post about Mark Lobliner talking about the Tren twins. And why do you think that is? because he is a smaller channel. If Mark Lobliner had 2 million followers, well, it would have got more eyeballs on his channel. And so Lex Little knew what he was doing. He posted that video because he knew more people would talk about it. It's cool to shit on Coach Greg. And so do what you want. There's nothing wrong with you doing that. But it's literally you being a hypocrite. Hey, it's just content, Greg, when he does it, but when I do it, I'm a bad person. And so they lie about what I'm feeling. They lie. They make it look like I was hoping, wishing, praying, that I was foaming at the mouth, hoping that the Tren twins, that perhaps both of them would get injured. Wouldn't that make a great story for Coach Greg? He could literally pay for his Lamborghini, of which he has enough money to buy tenfold right now. And oh my goodness, he's now bragging about his money. I'm just trying to say I don't need to do this to make money to pay for my cars. I make educational content about the Tren twins, explaining about the dangers of PD use, about attempting 1-rep maxes and so on, while they make shit content trying to make me look like a bad person. What exactly, Lex Little, was educational about you showing Trek grimacing, grinning, laughing, and saying it's Coach Greg? What did you learn from that? Did you learn about how to not ego lift in the gym? Did you learn about how to not abuse steroids? And Lex Little, aren't you 100% natural? Wouldn't you want the message to other people to be to not abuse performance-enhancing drugs? Would that not at least reduce the risk of people getting injured? And what about what Sam Sulik literally said the day before?
Injury and accident happens at the time of least fear. All right, let's get crazy. Let's do 5.
Do you see the educational content? I am willing to bet that a lot of people right now are not going to be tearing their pecs because they are going to avoid doing the exact same thing as the Tren twins. For example, this kid, he's 17 years of age. My max before steroids, 275 pounds at 16. Look at the arch and the bounce off the chest. Butt comes clearly off the floor. My max before steroids, yet again, 350 pounds at 17, and arching so far, driving his ass off the bench, the man could have been in the top 1% on OnlyFans. And so this kid, this teenager, what are the chances he doesn't watch the Tren twins? He's 16, benches 275, crazy arch, cheating the weight up. And now he's 17, 350 pounds, crazy arch, and he's about to use steroids. He's bragging about this. This is what I can do before I start using steroids. Greg Doucette is such a weasel if he makes a video on it. If there was 0% out of a million, no possibility ever was I not going to make a video on this. Hey, I have a news channel, but anything that's big news, well, we can't cover that. Does that make sense to you? And so people trying to hate on me before I even make the video. And if you watch my video, did I make fun of them? Did I say, I'm glad that this happened? Did I say, ha? Didn't do any of that. I explained what the tragedy was. I explained what supplements they could use, for example, to try to speed the healing, for example, BPC 157, TB 500, growth hormone, and explained what he was going to have to do. But yet, you love it. You're the ones that love it. All of you saying, Greg's going to make a video, let's hate on him. All of you out there. What did you all then do? You all went and watched the video because you wanted to see it. You dictate what I make videos on. If hundreds of thousands of people are going to want to watch a video, then does it not make sense for me to educate those hundreds of thousands of people? You'll all write in the comment section, why don't you make training videos? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? I do those videos and hardly anyone watches them. Like, for once in your life, try thinking for yourself. Try putting your thinking cap on and thinking, if I had a YouTube channel and the Tren twins, which I talk about all the time, if they tore their pec, would I make a video talking about them? Would you? Or would you say, nah, I don't think I should do that. No, instead of that, I'll just show people that I went on a bike ride yesterday. That's not what you want to see. If y'all wanted to see me doing bike races, I'd be showing you bike races every day, but it's not the content that you want. We all knew it was coming, but I never expected this turnaround. Just about the only thing in this world no one has ever said about Coach Greg is that the man doesn't work hard. Now, here's the thing. I was expecting you all to say, what took you so long? You're saying incredible turnaround. When does it ever take me almost a day from something major that happens to get the video out? You really think this is quick turnaround? I've literally gone to the hospital before for 8 hours and returned home at 1:30 in the morning and recorded videos while being sick. And you think this was quick turnaround? This was slow. This video should have been out in the morning. Have you ever heard of sports journalism? Greg does that. Look at this. The Tren towers fall. Journalists, time to get some views. Does this make journalists bad? Of course not. Stop blaming Greg. And so should all journalists around the world, news channels, should they all be hated on because they report the news? There are wars around the world, horrible things happening. Somebody has to report that. Are those reporters now all bad people? After all, these news channels, journalists, and so on, they're profiting on this harmful stuff. Why don't they just talk about the positive things in the world? Surely nobody else will cover this incident because all other content creators are such amazing people. And so Lex Little, he's an amazing person because he wouldn't cover this. I mean, he would never do that. And Mark Lobliner and others who are all going to be talking about this because it's newsworthy, these people must all be bad people. That is absolutely ridiculous. Don't hate the playa, hate the game. Nah, it's Greg. Time to educate people. Or maybe he is just confirming what he has been warning people about since forever. Why wouldn't you warn people about the dangers of using performance-enhancing drugs? How many people do you think that are saying negative things about me are children, teenagers, or guys in their early 20s? In comparison, how many people do you think like what I'm saying? All the parents of the world, parents with children right now, parents with teenagers, people in their 20s. Are you happy that I made that video? There are many people out there glorifying steroids. For example, Larry Wheels in that video he posted last week, making it seem cool. But listen, there are a host of negative consequences when you resort to using steroids. Some of them are your health, some of them are your mind, and one of them is an increased risk of getting injured. And so now that you know that, do you not think that maybe you should think twice about blasting hella gear and trying to bench press 500 or 600 pounds? No parent out there would want their kids to copy what the Trens were doing. None of them. Nobody wants their kids to abuse steroids and go for 1-rep maxes in the gym, doing dangerous shit that puts their health at risk. No parent wants this. And so when I make a video explaining to people the dangers of doing these things, why would you shit on me? I'll tell you why. Because you don't know any better. You're too young, your brain hasn't finished developing, and you don't know better. When you're young, you think you're invincible. You think that you're cool. It'll never happen to you. That is exactly what the Tren twins thought. It won't happen to me, despite how many times I warned everybody. Don't do this. Be careful. No one listens. People don't listen to me. I was talking with Lee Priest last night. He's 52, I'm 49. The kids, they don't listen. Oh, we're all washed up. We're has-beens. Why would you listen to us? Why would you focus on time under tension in the gym? Oh, that doesn't do anything. Why would I use perfect form? Why not ego lift? It's cool. It's fun. Yeah, it's fun until somebody gets hurt. And this time he got hurt. And do you think I actually want this to happen? Of course not. I would love for the Tren twins to have kept being able to do what they're doing. To bench press 700 pounds, break world records, become IFBB pros. That would be amazing. The problem is I know it comes with inherent risks. It's very dangerous. And I want people to be smarter than last time. I've made a ton of stupid decisions, stupid mistakes in my life. When I was a teenager, I already showed you, I had a partial pec tear. I've had multiple accidents, injuries, and it sucks ass. And so what I wrote Mikey yesterday was that it's easy to train hard to do everything when things are going right. Everyone can train hard. It's not hard. Think of it. You're on steroids, you're feeling amazing, your health's intact. Easy to go to the gym and push hard. But what separates a true champion from those who are average is what you do when you're down, when you're hurt, when you're sick, when you're injured. And so hopefully he stays positive. And he realizes that this doesn't stop things for him. He can come back from this, but he has to do so while being smart. He has to avoid getting depressed, and he still has to go to the gym. Remember, when I was injured, you've all seen me on crutches, training one arm in the gym and not the other. There's something known as cross-education. And so just because you're injured, you have a pec tear, you don't take 3 months off the gym. You can go to the gym and you can train your left side. You can train your legs. And so hopefully Mikey stays motivated during this dark time. Injuries, when you're a powerlifter of this level, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And so hopefully he has a strong mindset and he can continue this journey. Hey, at least he didn't use Mikey's injury to plug his products. Give him props for that. 738, never mind. I plug products in every single video. Unapologetically, I am going to say buy Geo2 Max and Turk Builder. It's got a money back guarantee. Use code Greg for 15% off. Do you really think that news channels, journalists, and so on, they're going to just remove all of their commercials? That is literally how they make a living. This is my job. It might not be your job. And so I'm not going to stop advertising when I make a video. Greg literally said it was going to happen. People need to understand Greg doesn't say things just to say them, and he really is trying to give his true best advice to all these people. As a guy who was in the industry most of his life, Greg has been at it since a teenager. And so guys, I make videos to help people. Now, obviously, while helping people, I'm fortunate enough that I'm able to make a living doing so at the same time. It's kind of like LeBron James, who likes playing basketball, but at the same time, he gets paid tens of millions of dollars every single year to do so. It's a win-win. I get to make the videos that I like, which educates the population, and at the same time, I get paid. Now, would I still make these videos if I wasn't getting paid? Yes. But it's clearly a bonus that I can make an amazing living while doing what I love. And so many of you, sometimes I feel like it's perhaps that you're jealous. It's easier to put me down than for you to level up. I was once in your shoes. When I was a teenager, do you think I had everything going for me? I had to study and work my ass off. And if you could work half as hard as I did, I'm sure your parents would be proud. You would be proud. Half as hard. But most of you, you're not even working a quarter as hard, perhaps 10%. Are you putting out your best foot forward? Ask yourself this. Are you trying as hard as you can? And I don't care what it's about. School, sports, studying for an exam, your job, your relationship. Are you putting in your all? Are you just half-assing it? Most of the world, they half-ass it. They go to work and they go through the motions. They do the bare minimum. I did the maximum and beyond. And why? Because that's what I'm about. That's what I do. And so considering the fact that you're saying, oh, I can't believe you put out this video so soon. What have I been doing for 5 years? How many people do you know have 3,500 videos put out in about 5 years? I'm putting out 1 to 2 videos every single day. Plus, I have videos on Snapchat, Instagram, as well as Bilibili, which many of you have never even heard of. I'm doing a lot of other work that you're not even aware of. And so rather than shitting on me in order to make yourselves feel good, it's not working. Your temporary dopamine hit of thinking that you somehow ruined me, that you've hurt me so much. Do you really think I care? Yeah, you care because you're making a video. Why do you think I'm making this video? Because you're going to watch it. Every single one of you watching this right now are watching this right now. Every single person that writes a hateful comment, you not only watched it, saw the thumbnail, you typed a response which boosts it in the algorithm. And so thank you. Thank you for hating on Coach Greg to this extent that you want me to be even more successful than freaking last time. Bro, gotta fund the McLarens and Turk, bro. I don't know how to tell you this. I'm rich. I already am rich. I have a lot of money. I've sold almost 100,000 cookbooks. Like, do the math. I don't need to fund the McLaren. Now, if I were to buy 15 more of them, yeah, I'd probably have to start making more videos. But it's one McLaren. Do you think that any YouTuber out there with over 2 million followers can't afford a McLaren? Guys, just because they don't speak of it or they joke about being able to afford butlers and Lamborghinis for all their butlers doesn't mean they actually can't. Hey, Coach, Could you make a new video about how to avoid any injury, natural or not? Thanks. And so if you were to just watch all my videos, you would know this. Don't ego lift in the gym. Focus on time under tension. And obviously, if you're enhanced, the risk of injury is that much greater. When I bench press, I always pause at the bottom. With anything heavy, you got to pause. When you do a powerlifting competition, you have to pause anyway. So what's the point of doing a touch and go, which increases the risk of injury? Because when you lower the weight quickly and bounce the weight off your chest, you're increasing the stretch reflex. The muscle is being stretched and it's going to contract harder than last time. That is why you can lift more weight doing touch and go bench presses than you can with a pause. And so by pausing the weight, you at least minimize your risk of injury. Obviously, I've stated in the past, always progressive overload. You shouldn't be going for a weight of 585 pounds this close after doing a bodybuilding competition. And so remember, I'm not the Tren twins coach. It's Coach Kyle, one of the best coaches in the world. And so I'm sure that he explained to them, it's very dangerous to ego lift in the gym, to go for 1 rep maxes. And following a bodybuilding competition, that is the time you should go off performance enhancing drugs. When I did bodybuilding competitions, which I abused steroids for 10 years, I went off of the steroids every single time following the competition. And why do you think that is? After a competition, you're at your leanest. You're now going to be in a calorie surplus. Essentially, you're going on a bulk. You don't need steroids to get stronger. I could lift more while off steroids in my off season following a competition than I could while on steroids approaching a bodybuilding competition. You don't believe me? Well, I entered a bench press competition, barely got 402 pounds while on test, Tren, and everything. But in my off season, when I was natural, I had benched 451 pounds in competition. And at my best off season on steroids, I bench pressed for a world record, which is still there to this day in the Masters group, 529 pounds at 198 pounds body weight. And so if you're looking to avoid getting injured, go off of the drugs after a bodybuilding competition. Do not extend the cycle. Many coaches are going to say, oh, let's take advantage of this. You're going to be so anabolic from all that food, and they're going to blast hella gear following a competition. They'll be using orals, they'll be using steroids, getting bulked up, D-ball, and so on. D-ball holds a lot of water weight. It's going to make you a lot stronger. Too strong, however. And so what do you think happened to Mikey? Remember, I've watched the Tren twins videos. I watch them all the time. I know that he was saying he was using D-ball. And of course, as I was when I was coaching the Tren twins, trying to convince them not to ego lift in the gym. And if you don't believe me, watch some of my old videos. Did I not watch the Tren twins videos? And I would make videos and say, guys, it's too heavy. I don't want you to do sets of 5 or left. It's too great of a risk of injury. And so perhaps Coach Kyle did all of that. He was guiding them, instructing them, but they just wouldn't listen. And so in the end, is it Coach Kyle's fault? I don't think so. I'm sure he did his best. And if the Tren twins, they don't want to listen, well, they don't want to listen. I think Mike hopped back on Tren. He was talking about how he hasn't slept in 3 days, which Tren Ace is notorious for because it shoots your nervous system up. Also may cause these depressing symptoms and the crazy idea to bench 600 raw. And so, of course, I watched that, and it is, in fact, a possibility. I did see how he was struggling to get in some sleep, and that definitely could have happened. Also going to make him stronger than last time. And it could have led to his injury. And so if you're a teenager out there in your early 20s and so on, don't use steroids. You've seen what it can do. Has this perhaps dissuaded you just a little bit? Perhaps caused you to think twice about using and or abusing performance-enhancing drugs? Yeah, it's going to get you stronger. We're not going to deny that. But at what cost? Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. Don't forget to watch one of those 2 loops. And since it's all about me just making money, why is it that I have a free diet and training program? That's right, it's free. You can pick up the free training program, which doesn't involve using performance-enhancing drugs or going for 1 rep maxes in the gym. And so don't say I didn't do anything for you. And until next time, I am out.